It is a battle of two tired sides, so they'll be facing each other along with their own legs. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schultz. Alongside me, Ross Davenport, for this rivalry matchup between the Greenville Triumph and South Georgia Tormenta. Should be an interesting one here today, Ross. Let's take a look at the standings. Both these teams in league play haven't gotten off to the right foot.
Yeah, both teams looking for their first victory of the season here. As they always say, you can't win or lose a title in the first few weeks, but you can certainly dig yourself a hole if you really want a home game in that first round.
As you see here, both sitting near the bottom of the table. But let's take a look at tonight's player to watch, presented by Joan Erlong Associates and Sotheby's. And it's Alan Gavilanez. He was great on Wednesday.
He was. John Harks was raving about him, along with the back line as well. The 22-year-old from New Jersey. He hit 30 appearances for the Triumph on Wednesday. He'll be trying to cause chaos, mostly on that left wing. He may switch over to the right as well, looking to take people on, get some crosses in for Jake Keegan and Jacob Lavovitz, as well as perhaps drawing some players out of position to open space up for them.
Coming from North Plainfield, New Jersey, Alan Gavilanez. Meanwhile, we mentioned Open Cup. Tormenta have not gotten a win in league play, but they have gone on the road against two championship sides and come away with victories.
Yeah, one of four USL League One teams to advance in the Open Cup, and they will get an away match at Inter Miami at beautiful Drive Pink Stadium coming up in the middle of May. Yeah, they've been playing real well, knocking off those two championship sides. A lot of upsets from USL League One teams so far in this cup.
Definitely proving the quality around the league, and Tormenta looking to continue that road victory trend here in Greenville. But the Triumph in a similar spot, looking for that first win of the season. So it's two hungry sides as they look to do battle here in a moment. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the kickoff here on ESPN+.
There's no substitute for hard work. You have to put in the time. Dedicate yourself to the goal. I didn't make it to the Hall of Fame on my own. I had a team and we worked hard together. I had coaches and a playbook with the answers. It's no different in business. Now I own a Janny King franchise because they've got the winning playbook and a team that supports me. Get in the game and get ready to shine. Go to JannyKing.com to get started today.
At Savannah Hilton Head International, you can choose from 11 different airlines, including Southwest Airlines, Breeze Airways, and Avelo Airlines. With up to 70 daily nonstop departures and over 30 nonstop destinations, Savannah Hilton Head International gives you more choices for a travel plan that fits your needs. Savannah Hilton Head International. Visit flysav.com.
This Greenville Triumph broadcast is presented by Hummel North America, the exclusive kit provider of the Greenville Triumph. As we welcome you back to Legacy Early College, Mark Schoenster alongside me, Ross Davenport, for the Triumph and South Georgia Tormenta, looking for their first win of the season on both sides of things as we see them process out onto the pitch. Before we get to the action, let's take a look at how both these teams are starting up today. With the Triumph, first off, are we looking at them presented by Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System. Ross, what sticks out to you?
Well, for John Harks, still dealing with a number of injuries, especially at the back. Noah Frankie remains out along with Jamie Smith. They're going to be out for a while with Evan Lee out suspended. Jimmy Fileman comes in, normally a fullback, a converted wingback. They will have to play center back tonight. The other change is Jacob Lavovitz up top with Jake Keegan, where he played in the second half of the Cup loss to Charlotte on Wednesday.
Yeah, getting his first ever professional start, Jake Lavovitz. So Big moment for him. And now we'll take a look again at our starting lineups presented by Spartanburg Regional Healthcare System for the Tormenta side of things. Rocking a 4-1-4-1 today.
Yep, also a couple of changes for Ian Cameron. Joshua Phelps, he did get sent off in the last League One game, but they got that red card overturned from that 0-0 draw with Omaha. Boshua and Morel in for Sterling and Sharifi for the visitors.
You see them donning their away kits, and also we're seeing the Greenville green. It's actually the first time we get to see them on a League One game, given the fact we didn't get them on the home opener.
They're going with the green shorts this year. White shorts in the past. But a good crowd. Obviously had a great crowd here on Wednesday night. The place was sold out. John Hart said it was probably the best atmosphere he's ever had at Legacy Early.
And we are underway here between the Triumph and Tormenta. Can either of these sides find their first win of the season? Here's Fenton Evans to get things kicked off. And it's going to be rolled out for a Tormenta throw.
Yeah, Fenton Evans is impressed since coming here in his first season with Greenville. John Hart said he was very useful in that loss to Charlotte. See how long he lasts. And I had a bit of cramp late in that game.
Let's take a look at our Wilson and Engelbart Attorneys at Law personal injury report. You mentioned cramps. Some people are suffering something a little bit more significant, and you can see those who were not able to make the 18 today.
Yeah, Noah Pilato making his way back. We could see him in a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, Noah Frankie and Jamie Smith, at least probably out for another month or so. But yeah, some issues at the back for John Harkson. For Ian Cameron, Lars Eckenrode remains on the sideline.
It's going to be tough for Eckenrode to get back into that starting back line with how well the Phelps-Dangler center back pairing has been. But with a talent like Eckenrode, I'm sure he'll find his way into that lineup in some form or the other.
Yeah, the back four has been very solid with Nembard and Thorne at the fullback spots. It's where you want to have that consistency, is at that back, those four back spots, especially at the center backs positions. Something Greenville hasn't had yet this season.
And of course, a new calibration in that regard today. Obviously not on the injury report, but Evan Lee serving a red card suspension today. So one of the staple center backs for this Greenville side for the past long while have to make a change for this game.
Yeah, John Hart said he was appealing that sending off for Evan Lee, but obviously that appeal unsuccessful with no Evan Lee tonight in the 18. Meanwhile, Josh Phelps, he had a straight red against Omaha. It was a bit harsh looking back at it. They did get that one overturned, so Phelps in the lineup tonight.
You mentioned that game here at Legacy Early College on Wednesday. Broke attendance records in that one, over 4,000 people. And talking to John Harks about that game, of course, they lost 2-1 in extra time, so you take an MLS side in Charlotte to extra time, so that's already a great accomplishment. But John Harks said that he was up till 3 a.m. that night watching, breaking down the film. And he was proud of the guys. And he mentioned that obviously as a staff, it's their job to motivate the players, but it's getting to a point where the players' performances and their dedication is motivating the coaching staff to do better in their job.
It's always disappointing to lose in the fashion they did so late in extra time. Well, so late in the game, I should say. It was the first half of extra time. But yeah, listen, Greenville's won one game in both of the U.S. Open Cups they've participated in, and lost to high sides both years as well. So just going to be tired after that. It's just a very emotional night it was. Maybe a little tired tonight. John said they have to be smart about this game and using their minutes. Got two youngsters on the bench we didn't mention in the lineups.
This ball bounces around a little bit. Tormenta trying to make something happen, and after an awkward transaction there, it ends up in the hands of Paul Christensen.
Lucas Coutinho dealing with a hamstring injury. He was questionable coming into this one, did not make the 18. So as a result, Selvin Altamirano, as well as Patrick Kaeli, two youth players on the bench tonight. John Hart said he won't be opposed to using them. Both got fresh legs. He said Patrick Kelly has really impressed him, trying to get him involved in the U20 setup, left-footed. Good chance we see him tonight.
Let's take a look at the keys to the game presented by Harper General Contractors. So as far as timing in the important moments of this game, it's a little bit different for both sides, starting with Greenville.
Yeah, Greenville, John Harks talked about the emotion and physical toll that Wednesday really took on this team and having to bounce back here. And normally when that does happen, it takes you a little while to get into the game. You can come out a little sluggish, so they got to have the early energy here.
Meanwhile, on the Tormenta side of things, Ian Cameron was emphatic on the fact that he thinks that late in the game, the fatigue is going to catch up to these players, and it may get a little sloppy. So if you can be sharp going into that last stretch of the game, maybe that could be a difference maker in how this one pans out. As Keegan, it's waved off there.
A good header back in there by Nate Schultz, somebody we asked John Harks who had really impressed him on Wednesday. Schultz was the first name he mentioned. What a signing that's been, because without him, they would really be struggling for depth. It was a late signing. They were trying to get him on loan from Indy 11 and end up being a permanent move. As there's John Harks in his Reedy River Riot shirt.
Rocking the short sleeves today, 77 degrees, so getting out of the winter, that's for certain, in Greenville.
Talking about player signings, Tormenta, what a change from last year. Only 6 players back from last year's squad. As here comes Veton Evans down the right.
Cross inside, hopefully looking for Labovitz, but only finds the veteran Pablo Jara, the forever man between the pipes for Tormenta. Talking to Ian Cameron just yesterday, actually, he mentioned as far as morale is concerned, yeah, they're a little tired, a little fatigued, but mentally, he says it's really cool where the guys are at. He mentioned on the bus ride back from Birmingham, because, of course, like we talked about in the pregame, a win against the USL Championship side to advance. He said that the boys were saying that they didn't deserve to just have 1 point in league play. He felt that they should have more than that in their first 2 games, so they want to go and change that. Evans over on the right flank. It's going to be a Greenville throw.
It's a very good start considering the amount of changes they've had, Mark. It takes a little bit of time for these teams to gel. Only really the 4 starters back tonight: Hara, Phelps, Thorne, and Bill Hart, who does normally start quite a bit. He's on the bench this evening. Those are the only guys that really have any impactful minutes so far this season, returning from last year. It's basically a completely new squad, especially in the front 6. So yeah, it's a very impressive start, as Ian Cameron knows what he's doing.
It will be a free kick here, so a set piece opportunity for the Greenville Triumph. Alan Gavilanez will be the one behind the ball. Not bad service, header goes over the crossbar. A good look there, but couldn't get it underneath the sticks there.
Yeah, great pace on that ball from Gavilanez. Didn't have a whole ton of whip on it, but it was played at the perfect height and pace. And Aaron Walker should perhaps have done better there. You can see head in his hands. Knew if that one had gone on target, could well have found the back of the net.
Yeah, that would have been tough for Hara to save, especially if you could place it in one of those top corners.
Well, set pieces are one of those spots that they'll miss Evan Lee's height tonight, both defensively and offensively. Lee well over 6 foot, 6'2", 6'3". Miss his presence tonight. Jimmy Fileman not as big of a presence back there. Fileman will be one to watch tonight. He's again a converted winger almost, and went to wing back during his time at Detroit City, and now at fullback for Greenville, and having to play center back tonight. I'm sure Ian Cameron certainly noticed that. We'll be trying to focus on perhaps isolating him when they can.
And only 5'11", Jimmy Filerman. You mentioned not only does he not have the size, but doesn't have the chemistry with Brandon Fricke like Evan Lee would.
It does actually look like Tyler Polak. You and I talked about this, Mark, before the game, that Tyler Polak looks like he might be playing left center back. He has done it in the past. There wasn't any indication in the pre-game lineups. There was no formation listed, but it looks like Tyler Polak might be playing left center back. Fileman pushing up on that left side. We'll see if that sticks around.
Surely more familiar with Brandon Fricke having played together longer, but then you notch down 3 more inches, 5'8". You got to be in charge of guarding one Arthur Boschwa, who is 6'3". That's a significant height difference there. Gavilanez working on this left side, and the deflected cross will go out for our first corner kick of the day. This corner kick is presented by PNC Corners for Kids.
PNC Corners for Kids, taken by your Greenville Triumph.
So the first set piece looked pretty good. The service from the right-hand side from Gavilanez. Now we'll see if they can make better use of this one after the first service was right on the dot for Aaron Walker. Oh, they're going to take this one short. Tormenta's not going to have any of it. Gavilanez shrugging off one player. Tried to square it to Evans. And now here come Tormenta on the break. Jay plays it forward. And coming well off his line is Christensen. Quick giveaway. Boschwa trying to catch him off guard. And an off-the-line clearance practically keeps this one from going in the goal.
Yeah, good tracking back by Venton Evans. This is where Greenville are going to have to be very careful, is on the transition. Communication was a good foot in there by Tyler Pollack. And John Harks mentioned during the week about how Paul Christensen had really improved his coming off the line decision making, and that was one instance there where he made the right decision to help his buddy Tyler Pollack out. Wasn't the greatest of clearances, but he did enough. And his buddy Venton Evans back there to clean up.
The wherewithal to cover up for your keeper when he goes out. As this corner kick swings in, doesn't get very far, but they could have a second crack at it. Much better service here. Header towards goal! And the header combination gives Tormenta the early lead. A quick 1-2 noggin punch for the visitors.
Well, at 5'5", Kingsford Hadjay hasn't scored too many headers in his career, I'm sure. This one wasn't the greatest of set pieces. Phelps kept it alive. Served back in, and the Greenville defense just lost complete track of Hadjay 3 yards out. Not many professional soccer players are going to miss from there, no matter how tall you are. There, that miscommunication in the center of that Greenville defense, which we thought might be an issue tonight. Nobody picked up Hadjay. Pollack and Fricky right behind him. Just didn't see him, and 1-0 to the visitors.
Yeah, he had a radius of space all around him. Kingsford Hadjay with his first goal in league play for Tormenta. And now Greenville on the other end. This one booted away. So the start Tormenta is very much pleased to have. It's their first goal in league play this season. Of course, they've had better luck in Open Cup play, but now that they've got things started, that's all you really need to get the ball rolling, is you got to find that first goal, both in league year and also just in a given game. Can Gavilanez serve something up nice again? Aaron Walker again. That one, he was a little more pressed to get that one under the crossbar. Didn't have as much time and space.
Yeah, more good service from Gavilanez and Walker. I'm not sure if he expected it to clear the two defenders just in front of him. It was Phelps, in fact, who was right there. I think it sort of surprised Walker. But two good chances for the captain from in close.
Notice Pablo Jara putting his arms around Walker there, consoling him. Those two surely well familiar with each other at this point. Jay was looking to get on the ball there, but the clearance launched into the stands. They were treated to a nice game on Wednesday. Had a good contingent of Charlotte fans here as well. One compliment that I thought was great for the Greenville side, the manager, the head coach of Charlotte FC, Miguel Angel Ramirez, after the game talked to John Harkes and said, wow, your team can play football. So, I mean, obviously when you take a team to extra time, you would expect that some compliments are going to get thrown your way, but the fact of the matter is that he went out of his way to show praise to the Greenville Triumph.
Listen, over the 3 years of the history of USL League One, they've been one of the best clubs with 3 finals. Obviously, May didn't have the second one, obviously. Managed to retain most of their core again this season. Walker, Polak, Fricky, bringing Jay Keegan back, keeping Don Smart, who John Harkes said he thinks he's going backwards in age. He's run more than anybody, he said, this season in the Greenville team.
And like you said, on the Tormenta side of things, much more of a reshuffling when it comes to their roster. But one thing that Ian Cameron likes about this group is their mentality. And he mentioned that they watched the cup draw, found out they were playing Inter Miami, and they said, all right, well, we're going to file that away. We've got league games to handle, so they're not looking too far ahead to that, I believe it's a May 10th, May 11th date. Well, they will come down to South Florida. They look at the head honcho for Tormenta, Ian Cameron.
With a half sleeve, not quite short sleeved. The long sleeved rolled up.
Hope for the best, plan for the worst.
Exactly. It's not going to get any warmer tonight.
It's going to be a hard turnaround both physically and emotionally. That was what John Harkes said about Greenville coming into this game. So many emotional and adrenaline highs on Wednesday. And that's tough to whip around and quickly reset for a league game. With so much buzz and anticipation going into that one. And then you go into extra time as well. That could take a toll on you. Not just in the sense that you're running more, you're colliding with bodies more, but just, I mean, like he said, emotionally, that could take a lot out of you. Roberts laying it back for Heckenberg. There's the center back duo of Jake Dangler and Josh Phelps. And although they're center backs, they're also not too unfamiliar with scoring goals. Dangler scoring in that win against Birmingham. Curtis Thorne also getting on the score sheet in that game, so go figures. Kind of look out from all 10 of those players out on the pitch for scoring opportunities.
We all remember Josh Phelps' brief foray into a center forward land a couple of seasons ago. Or was it last season? And had that one short season. It messed me all up when it comes to timelines.
It's all been a bit of a blur since 2020.
The other game tonight, quarter of an hour in there. Omaha hosting the Fuego. Fuego obviously off to a red hot start to their League One history. See if they can continue that tonight in the home opener in Nebraska.
Now look to spoil the party there. They're having their ring ceremony for their 2021 championship season, the Owls.
They are. I did get to see the rings yesterday. I got a little sneak peek. They're not too gaudy, but they're very big. Owl on top. Obviously still alive in the US Open Cup after that big win over the Chicago Fire. I did that game. What a finish to that contest. They looked dead and buried. And then that late strike and the win in penalties to knock off the MLS side, who are also playing today. Hadn't scored last time I checked. Lost 3-0 today to Minnesota, the Fire.
Wow.
Fede Navarro sent off with 13 minutes to go. 2 of the goals came after that. The Chicago Fire still continuing their offensive struggles, and Omaha took advantage midweek. And they will play the Northern Colorado Hailstorm in the next round.
Yeah, a League One game.
Yep, they announced that game today. Will be at University of Nebraska Omaha because Morrison, the home of Creighton men's soccer, isn't available.
And of course, at Werner Park, you've also got the Storm Chasers
do have baseball, and it's a baseball field after all. Not that that stopped other teams. There's a look at Jimmy Filerman, former Detroit City. He'll be happy to see his former boys also still alive in the US Open Cup. They'll have a home match against Louisville City in the next round.
Always nice to have the Open Cup back.
Oh man, this week's just been, also been a blur, just with the amount of fun we had on Tuesday and Wednesday with those games. And then the draw on Thursday.
Labovitz going to lay it off to the right-hand side for Evans. Nice step inside. The shot suffers a deflection. The follow-up cannot get past Phelps. Couple more touches. Gavilanez with the chip in. That one cleared away. Some appeals for a handball. It will not be heard by our head official, Chris Ruska. There will be a free kick here. We get a look at Alex Morel, the former Greenville Triumph player, former Tormenta player. Now, of course, again, a Tormenta player. Similar to Jake Keegan has done the back and forth.
These two front offices get along. Obviously, don't want to be too friendly. Obviously, these two played each other in the first ever League One game.
It's a rivalry, but certainly not a nasty rivalry.
No, they are very friendly.
Gavilanez' ball bounces in. A winding shot here, trying to bend it around. Jimmy Filerman. Trying to pull something out of his hat. But after 20 minutes, Greenville still trying to find an equalizing goal after Tormenta were able to capitalize off of their first set-piece chance of the day.
Jimmy Filerman coming in from that right channel, left-footed. It's a good strike. Neither keeper has been particularly tested so far tonight. Obviously, Paul Christensen had to pick the ball out of the back of his net, but hasn't done much else.
Tracking down is Labovitz. And a poor touch gives it back to Phelps, and he's able to dish it out of play. Here's Don Smart. Bring around, and we'll give it back to Schultz. Oshwa applying the pressure. A good step from Filerman there. Sends it inside, well found to Jake Keegan, but he can't corral it in. Evans applying some pressure, looking to win it back quickly. Filerman feeling it right now. Great ball inside to Keegan.
He's obviously got free rein, Jimmy Filerman, to get up that left side as much as he wants to in this game. He was playing that three at the back. That was a lovely ball in Jake Keegan's first touch, just let him down a little bit. But John Hawks will be happy to see Keegan getting central. He was telling me earlier this season too that he wants Jake Keegan to stay central. Loves to get around the ball. He's so energetic, but he needs him to stay central and be in that exact spot where he was there. And the places to put the ball in the back of the net a little easier than having to do it from the wing.
A little bit different, of course, today, having to share the top with Jake Labovitz.
We've seen Greenville use the 4-4-2 system. They used it obviously successfully earlier last year, and then had to change it a little bit when McLean got hurt. They changed the second half against Charlotte into the 4-4-2, scored the goal. So John Hart sticking with it here again tonight.
There's a Jay, the goal scorer today. On the right-hand side, the cross. It's popped away, but one back by Tormenta. Here's Thorne. Thorne plays it into the middle, saved. Christensen getting his hands on that one.
Curtis Thorne's a fullback that loves to get forward. Scored against Birmingham on Wednesday on a rebound. He's only got 3 goals, I think, in his Tormenta career. Finds himself in those channels. Good save in the end by Christensen. His first real good work tonight.
There's Filerman on the left-hand side. He'll give it back to Polak. So this Tormenta side they felt good with their product on the pitch thus far. Felt they played all right against North Carolina. They just got that goal and then rode on that energy and were hell-bent on defending, according to Ian Cameron. And then on top of that, he was not going to complain about a draw against Union Omaha. He said, I think both sides are happy with it. I mean, look at the results later in the week for both of those sides. Let's get a look at Paul Christensen's effort a moment ago.
It was a lovely little 1-2. Coming up in a second here. Actually, it was just a great turn by Thorne. Made Fileman look like a traffic cone, and the man dressed like a traffic cone had to make the big save. Greenville down the left again. 52% of their attacks have come down this left side so far. Clearly going to be their focus with Fileman pushing up. And sort of I'm going to call it a 3.5 back system.
A good header to Vendon Evans. Evans waiting for the right moment, plays it to the top. Aaron Walker with the shot. You know he's got the boot for it right there in that top of the 18-yard spot.
Yeah, good work from Greenville. They've probably been the better side so far, I think, despite the scoreline.
Smart sends it centrally. It's headed away with ease. And we're going to get a foul. Away from the ball, Labovitz. The one they're going to call the foul on.
67.1% possession for the Triumph so far. Far the better accuracy when it comes to passing, 75% to 54%. For Tormenta, 7 crosses to 3. Greenville have had the edge. You wouldn't know it from looking at the score, obviously. John Harks unhappy about something. Probably officiating related.
Never scared to speak his mind, John Harks.
No. So he spent his time in the media too. That's poor from Schultz.
Here's Alex Morrell. And that getting folded over is Jamil Roberts. So it'll be another free kick here. Last season, Tormenta just had the upper hand on Greenville. We're able to win a couple games even here at Legacy Early College, which is not an easy place to win. But John Harks was quick to dispel any thought that they had their number last season.
Yeah, 2 of those games were in that spell, as you said, Mark, that Greenville were really struggling with injuries, couldn't buy a win. And again, almost you think they've got them in a decent spot here with the injuries Greenville are dealing with. But both teams, though, with their 3rd game in 8 days, so that balances it out a little bit. Here's Vendon Evans with some space.
He's got Schultz making the run to his right, but opts to go inside instead. More of a smash and grab kind of team this year, John Harks said, scouting out Tormenta. A lot of Route 1 soccer. Mentioned 1 or 2 passes, and then you'll find a long ball down the pitch. Also took a moment to highlight Arthur Boschwa. Mentioned he was familiar with the guy. And a nice number 9 for Tormenta. You can see him right there. Wearing the number 27, so maybe a bit of an unconventional number for that spot. That's a great move by Thorne. Thorne still going, squares it to nobody. Only Aaron Walker is there. And Filerman lets it squeak by him. Curtis Thorne with a wonderful touch.
You and I are both familiar with Curtis Thorne, Mark, with his time at Nova Southeastern. He used to make those marauding runs. He played center back at Nova, but would often go on these runs straight up the middle of the field and show off those flashy feet when he needed to. Played with Tormenta too, and now with the top side, cemented himself in this back 4 for Ian Cameron now over the last couple of seasons.
That was really reliable for them last year when they were just getting beleaguered with injuries on that back line. He came in and was sort of their Iron Man in that regard. Here's Morrell. Squares this one into the middle. That rolled by several green shirts. And Jay was close to already having a brace here. We're going to get a corner kick here.
Corner for Tormenta FC.
Let's take a quick peek at it.
This ball didn't look particularly dangerous when it came off the foot of Alex Morel. Lovely bit of gas to put on there. I'm not sure if it touched a Greenville player, then directed it away from Ajay before it could get to him. Schultz just ended up putting it out for the corner, as you said.
So another corner for Tormenta. They'll play this one short. Little 1-2. Here's Cabral. Back over to Morel. Swinging ball is well too high and will bounce across the goal line for a goal kick.
Yeah, Gabriel Cabral, a guy you can't give any space from distance. He scored a couple of great quality goals last year for Tormenta too. You can go back and check those out if you Google it. One superb one off the inside of the far post. May jump up now to the professional ranks.
Well, that's definitely one positive thing that Tormenta has going for them. They've done really well with pulling up those guys from the USL League 2 team. Looks like some blood on Aaron Walker. He's got a quick cleanup. If he comes back in wearing the number 99, you'll know why.
Yeah, we're good to have that developmental squad, we'll call them, right? To be able to draw from the League 2 side. I know Chattanooga have 2 of them. Obviously off to a good start this season. Not every team has that extra team though. Greenville one that doesn't. It'll take time for these teams to build their academies, especially when you get your own facilities, which obviously Tormenta are going to have soon. They were looking to have it for the start of the season, but it's not going to be ready till perhaps late May, early June. It certainly won't be finished. It'll be just good enough to host this game like Chattanooga were last season. And then we should be finished by 2023.
A lot of wide open space for Venton Evans. Evans still going forward, try to get by the sliding Jake Dangler. Nope, that's Curtis Thorne. No, it was Dangler.
You're right the first time.
Gotta trust my gut.
Yellow card for somebody.
Chris Ruska having to reach into his pocket for the first time today.
Yeah. Venton Evans just took the touch slightly ahead of him, and that allowed Dangler to leave his feet without too much risk. It was dangerous still here, though.
Josh Phelps was the one. This corner kick is presented by PNC Corners for Kids. Ball comes in, good dip on it, headed away. We have a collision right around the 6-yard line. Both players clutching their heads. You know that they just suffered a good old clunk.
Schultz down for Greenville.
That's Hara for Tormenta.
Pablo Hara, not the tallest keeper in the world, but he does love to come for balls. Not afraid to get his fists on it.
For Tormenta's number 5, Josh Phelps.
Josh Phelps, the one who went into the books. So,
Got
getting a yellow card.
Got a bit of shoving going on here as well.
Let's see if we can get a look on the collision here.
Hara came for it. Oof. Yeah,
Oh.
Nate Schultz headed the head of Pablo Hara.
That
one
does
will
not
hurt
feel
both
good.
of them. No, Josh Phelps has a history against Greenville. We'll say that. He loves to throw his body around as the Australian. Not afraid to pick up a card.
He's sitting there hovering over Pablo Hara, who seems to have taken the brunt of the collision.
And the two, I want to say caps, the 2 players with the most appearances in League One playing here tonight. Tied for the most. Pablo Hara and Tyler Polak for Greenville. Hopefully Pablo Hara knows where he is. Not sure what he's asking for. He got the foul.
What's your name? Who is the current president?
Yeah, hopefully he's not asking the ref something unsoccer related. That would be a sign that he perhaps needs to go off.
Well, obviously you don't want to see this, but Ian Cameron mentioned that when you play Greenville, especially this weekend, he thought it was going to be a bit of a bloody affair, a lot of physicality. And he said that the fans are probably going to get involved as well. He mentioned you might see fatigue slip in, some rash decisions, some slower reactions, set piece execution lacking in the game. And he wants his guys to take advantage of it, especially as the game wears on. But he said these games with Greenville are always tight. That's one thing you can be certain of. whenever these two teams meet and do battle. Hara is able to get back up on his feet, and that's a guy they don't want to lose. Such a steadying presence, both on the pitch, just in the locker room, but also just a great member of the Tormenta community as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he really had to complain about. I mean, Schultz was going for the ball. I don't think he meant to head Pablo Hara in the head. Yeah, talking about depth and tiredness, Greenville do not have any defenders on the bench tonight. They're super thin in that department as Jake Dengler's playing dentist.
Say
Peter Pearson, perhaps the only defensive-minded player on the bench, more of a defensive midfielder. See there how they're being careful tonight with this back four and just really pushing pushing Fileman up, leaving the other two back.
Let the guys who are familiar with each other handle the business for the most part. Let Fileman get up and be a bit creative.
Yeah, just focus on that one side. Fileman should have some legs. He only played a half on Wednesday. Yeah, he's going to have to be taken from the correct position. John Harks mentioned Brandon Fricky was superb in that tie earlier this season. The one that Evan Lee got sent off in.
Had a goal line clearance against Charlotte on Wednesday to keep things level before going into extra time.
Yeah, we talked to John Harks before the season about the championship game last year and just individual mistakes. And they've creeped in a little early this season. Just some lost marking on that goal. There's been obviously the mistake by Paul Christensen early this season, though he's played very well overall. There's just been hopefully it's just some early season rust that Greenville need to work off.
The hiccups you got to work out. I mean, you could look at it two ways, because obviously it's concerning when you give up goals that were self-produced. But also you could think about it this way, as this ball goes all the way to Christensen. If you can get those fixed, then you're in a good spot defensively, but you have to get those fixed in order to be happy about it.
Yeah, John Harks said, the game, you're going to have individual mistakes. It's just when to make them, right? Especially when you get in that final third. You saw on the goal tonight, just a slight miscommunication, left Ajay open. It was in the wrong place in the wrong time and resulted in a goal. Still plenty of time for Greenville to get back into this. Obviously, they were down on Wednesday night. Took them until early in the second half to tie things up.
Keep talking about this congested schedule, about how busy it's been for both these clubs. Greenville managing minutes, Tormenta having to manage minutes as well. A roll out of play for a goal kick. Couldn't get to Fenton Evans. Tormenta mentioned, talking to Ian Cameron, he said that health-wise they're okay for the most part. Bus trips can have a bit of a lag effect to get a look at. Coach Cameron now, he said it adds a stiffness that you'll have to manage, but he felt pretty confident that they could retain the quality on the pitch. He said the back line is definitely where he's going to have to keep his eye on and get managed a little more, because they don't have as much options to shuffle that one up, and you don't really want to shake up the back line too often throughout a season. But up top in particular, he could shift in some new bodies. Get some fresher legs in there, and they've gotten off to the fresh start that they would have liked.
Tormenta winning these aerial duels in the middle of the pitch at the moment. Ball's been in the air a lot tonight. 36 aerial duels already.
Schultz wins it back for Greenville. Filerman with the ball forward. Labovitz able to get a touch on it, but it leads ahead of him to Curtis Thorne. Walker with the pop inside, header going across to Evans. And it'll roll out for a goal kick. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL League One. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. So Hara back up and kicking. Looks like he's doing all right. Nate Schultz looks like he's doing okay, so the fallout. No one too harmed from the collision.
Greenville just having a hard time getting Jake Keegan and Jacob Lavovitz involved at the moment. They were around the ball a little bit in the first 10 minutes, but it's been very quiet since then.
Ajay, light on his feet, slips it through. Boschwa off the shot, and it finds its way through. It is a 2-0 lead for Tormenta on the road.
And Ajay turning provider this time.
And you mentioned Ajay turned provider. Boschwa had the assist on the first goal, so switching roles here. It's this pass from Ajay coming here.
Oh. Pass through the middle, yeah, just cut Greenville wide open. Christensen slightly out of position.
He won't get the assist for it, Ajay. Heckenberg the one getting that last pass, but you have to recognize the apt touch from Ajay to get things going, but Arthur Boschwa, his first league goal of the season. Coming from South Africa. And last played at New Amsterdam FC in Nisa. Would you look at that?
Greenville had the lion's share of possession, but Tormenta have just managed to carve Greenville open through the middle when they've needed to on these two goals. We thought Greenville might have trouble with the loss of Evan Lee tonight. No Jamie Smith and Jimmy Fineman. We thought he'd be playing out of position at center back, but he's playing in that left wing back spot and it just being exposed a little bit. And here we go though.
Gavilanez trying to get it through. One Jake Dangler, but proving to be a wall in this instance. We will get a corner kick here presented by PNC Corners for Kids. Triumph, like you mentioned, certainly been in this game. The scoreline would not lead to believe that. Ball comes in, Schultz can't get a good piece of it.
Yeah, that's normally where Evan Lee is lingering at that back post and knocked the ball back across. I think Schultz, not as much of an aerial presence with his height. We'll see what John Harks has up his sleeve here. Got some offensive options on the bench, if not defensive options.
Well, if not one, then it must be the other.
He made the halftime change on Wednesday. See what he does here tonight.
I'd say it did wonders, that switch to the 4-4-2. Caused a lot of problems. And Ajay looking to do some more damage now on the left-hand side. And Roberts will see this one out.
Aaron Walker, that was needless. Frustration there.
And he'll go into the book, Aaron Walker.
I think they called him the captain earlier. He's normally the road captain for Greenville. Tyler Pollack, normally the home captain.
Needless to say, one of the leaders of the team.
Yeah, this wasn't a leader-like play here. The ball was just being shepherded out for a throw-in.
And a little extra push.
Aaron Walker.
Just silly.
In the 43rd minute.
Actually just a lapse in judgment. Something that can happen when you find yourself 2-0 down in the first half. Ajay. Or Ajay. Ball comes curling in. And it's booted away. Another throw in for Tormenta. Looking to keep Greenville burrowed in their own half to roll out the first 45 minutes. The reigning champs race their way to the Midwest to face a new-look Indy 11 as the USL on ESPN continues. Don't miss the Indy 11 take on Orange County SC Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Deportes.
Eight shots for Greenville so far, only 4 for Tormenta. 2 of them have found the back of the net. Greenville will yet to have a shot on target. 45 minutes to sort it out. Try and get their way back into this one.
Here's Boschwa. And getting a little too handsy there, Arthur Boschwa. Has a goal and an assist in this game. Both his first in league play for Tormenta. Of course, they hadn't scored yet this season. Take a look at stoppage here. This stoppage time is presented by Engineered Sleep. You can see a lot of time. Had that collision, 2 goals. So 4 minutes to be tacked on. And Walker needs to be careful. Obviously an inadvertent collision there, but the evident frustration displayed after the fact.
It's just a silly place on the field to be making a foul. Just unnecessary. Well, they probably want to get to the locker room and talk this first half over.
So Dangler will put this one back into play. Boschwa. Looked like he was able to get that one off of Polak, and he did. He's got another Tormenta corner.
Corner for Tormenta.
Third game of the night in League One is underway. Chattanooga, 15 minutes in there, hosting FC Tucson. No goals in that game or the Omaha Fuego game. But 2 goals here, and both for the visitors.
Just 3 games today in the League One world of things. Let's see what Roberts can do with this corner. That ball only had a pair of Greenville players around it. Back out for Roberts. Tees it up. That one looking to zip inside once again. Just getting cleared away. So 2 of the 4 stoppage time minutes have transpired. I wonder how these teams are going to handle minutes in the second half. If you're Tormenta, you got to be careful about putting in younger bodies if you're feeling comfortable with the lead, because when do you make that decision? 2-goal lead is nothing to sleep on. Well, with halftime coming up, I'm sure many of y'all will be thinking about stepping aside from your screen, from your app, and taking a break, but got some good halftime content coming your way, including looking back at all of the League One success in the Open Cup. It's been fantastic. The league has represented well. Lots of teams in the 3rd round and 4 clubs going into the 4th round. Here's Labovitz. Labovitz trying to touch, and he sent that one into orbit.
What a ball by Don Smart, though. He looked up and just smashed it right into the path of Jacob Labovitz. His first touch was good. His shot didn't match it, unfortunately, in quality, but it's the kind of speed of play that we need to see from Greenville. Phelps was slightly out of position. He perhaps could have let it bounce and half volley. He tried to volley it instead. It was always going to be a difficult shot. We've seen harder ones made.
A ton of power behind it. That ball was going. Smart again. Looking to tee it forward to either number 18 or number 19. And there is your halftime whistle. Greenville may have been dominating possession, but it's Tormenta who have proven critical in the attacking third. Thanks to many efforts from Kingsford Ajay, it's 2-0 in favor of the visitors. Absolutely great performance from Tormenta, taking advantage of the chances given to them. And with that, they'll be going to the locker room feeling much better than the Greenville Triumph. And with that, we're going to step aside for a moment, but we have halftime content coming up next, so do not close your app, close your TV, turn it off for that matter, or anything like that. We'll be back in a moment.
The unstoppable spirit lives inside all of us. For Matt and Lisa Kuhn, it's fueled by family, with a business backed by an unbreakable bond and a passion to innovate. They've become leaders in last-mile transportation. That's why First Horizon is proud to celebrate unstoppable spirits like Matt and Lisa. From the first stop to the final destination, we use our understanding to keep our clients on their unique path to success.
From boardroom to the showroom, storefront to doorfront, lobby sign to freeway sign. Designing, developing, installing, and elevating your brand. The trusted name is Wrap and Roll Graphics. Providers of fleet graphics, wall murals, and architectural enhancements. Now is the time to drive attention and strengthen your brand. It's time to wrap and roll.
I mean, there is no playbook for how to handle a pandemic. I had to learn how to do everything that I'd been doing with mask on, socially distanced, which is very hard. But my mission remains the same, because really now more than ever, kids will remember their teachers.
The South Carolina Education Lottery raises millions of dollars each year to help students like Katie prepare for their dream careers.
Welcome to tonight's halftime, presented by Oxford Barber Company. We talked a lot in the first half about the Open Cup, and it has been a fantastic advertisement for League One soccer. So let's take a look at all the success these clubs have been having in this legendary, historic tournament.
There's the whistle. We are underway. Round 3 U.S. Open Cup. Low cross, Spangenberg committed to it. Tormenta has the goal. Spangenberg wasn't expecting to get it onto his goal. He punched at it with a left hand, and finishing it off is Curtis Thorne. Cabral with the corner. To the middle, completely unmarked. Completely unmarked, and Tormenta is up 2-0. We are past the allotment of added time. And there is the final whistle. Chalk up another one in the win column for USL League One.
There is the whistle, and the U.S. Open Cup is underway. Shiho steps up on that left foot and goes right down the middle. Chicago scores. Well, lasered in. Chance here for Omaha! What a hit! It's the equalizing goal for the Owls, and it's 1-1. The dream is still alive.
Chicago just let off the gas a little bit.
Shiho steps up again, and this time he slots it home. The Chicago Fire lead in extra time. Gutierrez comes on and may have scared Ali Hadjic, but maybe one more chance here for Union Omaha. Kamitani, Akoff. Centering pass, shot is in! Omaha scores! Alex Touche! 122 minutes on the clock! It's 2-2!
Unbelievable. Great work down the right here by Kamatani. Got it back in. Akoff, who's had a superb impact since coming on, did just enough. And the defender with a finish.
We are going to penalties at Soldier Field. Miguel Navarro, the last player off the bench tonight for Chicago, is saved! Nuhu! Akoff steps up, and Akoff scores! It's a cup set for the ages! Union Omaha takes down the Chicago Fire!
Beauty of the cup, and there's the whistle. We are underway. City Stadium.
All the way back. Oh, that was closer. Hung up there for a while. Here's a cross, and it goes in! Terzaghi! And that is a final whistle.
Third round U.S. Open Cup match underway from Rio Tinto Stadium. The last 12-15 minutes. We certainly have Cornwall. It's that block. And it goes right. Pascali, his service across. Volley attempt! The strike is true! And Hailstorm FC take the lead. What a strike by Rob Cornwall.
Fantastic from the Cats, and what a volley. The pressure was building from this USL League One side, but what a finish from Robert Cornwall. What a strike, absolutely brilliant.
The final whistle sounds, and Northern Colorado Hailstorm FC shocks Real Salt Lake in Rio Tinto Stadium with a 1-0 victory.
We offer a full array of dental treatment, and what that provides you as a patient is you're able to come to one place and get comprehensive care under one roof.
I've always been greeted with a smile. They know me when I call. I trust them.
We'd love to see you at Wood Creek Dental. Visit us at woodcreekdental.com.
And we're back here for the Oxford Barber Company halftime show. It's 2-0 in favor of the visiting Tormenta side as they play the Greenville Triumph. Welcome one and all once again to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster alongside me, Ross Davenport. Let's take a look at some of the talking points around the league. The W League coming up. Nelson Blanco, or Flores Blanco, making a name for himself. But, of course, the big story is how well the USL League One has been doing in the Open Cup.
Now we've been looking forward to this till 2019. The league is a lot better as a whole since then, talent-wise, and now we're really seeing that talent put to use.
And you see a lot of, it's all growing. You talk about the W League coming in, the Super League that's coming in the future, players getting these call-ups. It's just all been fantastic growth showing from the league. Now let's take a look at the scores around the league presented by Oxford Barber Company. Some of these are last weekend's results, but we mentioned only 2 other games happening today and only 1 goal to show for in either of them.
Yep, Jimmy Villalobos with the goal for Chattanooga, leading the table coming in tonight, looking to hold on to that spot. Very impressive last year, just fell in the latter stages of the playoffs, but going to be in the mix again this year for sure.
Absolutely. They have started off red hot, the Red Wolves, as we look at the standings presented by Hopkins Eye Center. It's interesting because you notice the Hailstorm, Tormenta, Greenville sitting very low on the table, and they're in Omaha right next to them as well. And those are the 4 teams that have advanced to the Open Cup's 4th round.
Yeah, but listen, we saw the chaos at this table was for the most of last season. I don't expect them to stay down there for long. Greenville again in a bit of an injury-riddled situation at the moment. South Georgia have had some tough matchups, but so Northern Colorado had 5 guys out in the first couple of games, so they'll be fine.
With that in mind, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we'll have highlights and stats for you before the second half kickoff here on ESPN+.
The unstoppable spirit lives inside all of us. For Matt and Lisa Kuhn, it's fueled by family, with a business backed by an unbreakable bond and a passion to innovate. They've become leaders in last-mile transportation. That's why First Horizon is proud to celebrate unstoppable spirits like Matt and Lisa. From the first stop to the final destination, we use our understanding to keep our clients on their unique path to success.
From boardroom to the showroom, storefront to doorfront, lobby sign to freeway sign. Designing, developing, installing, and elevating your brand. The trusted name is Wrap and Roll Graphics. Providers of fleet graphics, wall murals, and architectural enhancements. Now is the time to drive attention and strengthen your brand. It's time to Wrap and Roll.
This Greenville Triumph broadcast is presented by Hummel North America, the exclusive kit provider of the Greenville Triumph. All right, well, if you're just joining us, we're going to take a look at these halftime highlights presented by Palmetto State Home Mortgage. Starting off with the Tormenta goal in the corner kick.
Yeah, Greenville had the best of the first 10 minutes or so, but then this ball played back in, and then the deflected header by Ajay in the right place at the right time. Greenville just sort of forgot about him, and he made them pay.
You see, in that second service, and they've been able to have a couple of second takes over on that right-hand side, Tormenta. And Kingsford Ajay wouldn't be the last time they'd see him do some damage here in this one. This was another chance later in the game. Didn't end up resulting in a goal, but it did result in a Paul Christensen save.
Yeah, it was a lovely turn by Curtis Thorne. He got his laces through that one, and it was a good stop in the end by Paul Christensen. One of 2 he had to make in the half. Tormenta had 4 shots, all on goal. be able to keep that one out.
They have done well with the chances that have come their way, that's for certain. And then we'll see this moment right here. A little bit of an awkward transaction, but then you get the ball into Ajay's feet, and good things have been happening.
This ball here was delightful. Just split two Greenville defenders, and Beauchois falling backwards. I think Paul Christensen perhaps will feel he could have done a little better with that one. Didn't matter. 2-0 to Tormenta. Bounced right in front of him. There's an awkward one in the end.
All right, now I'll mention one of the stats here on the halftime stats presented by Warehouse Services. Greenville having the bulk of everything, but I think the big discrepancy is 9 shots. None of them have been on target.
We talk about being clinical, Mark, all the time. You've got to take your chances when given to you, and Greenville haven't done that yet. Tormenta have, and that's been the difference in this one so far.
We're getting ready to get the second half underway here as the sides swap halves and maybe more than battle each other, battle themselves. As this game wears on, the exhaustion is going to kick in only more and more.
Yeah, I expect we'll see some subs around the hour mark. Jake Keegan. Clumsy challenge from behind. By the letter of the law, that should be a yellow card. We'll see if referee Rusk is ready to do that so early in this half.
So we do have one substitution for the Triumph. Venton Evans making his way off the pitch for Jesus Ibarra. And that is a substitution presented by Spinks.
Yep, straight up like for like there on the right wing. Ibarra and Gavilanez have had the bulk of the minutes over the last year plus for Greenville on the wings.
Ball hopping around a couple of times. That was a nice touch from Morel to bring it down. And a hoofed pass from Thorne, headed down, still in the area, and Smart is able to collect it and knock it away. You mentioned those wing spots for Greenville. Those are physically tasking spots, a lot of running, a lot of tracking, as Ibarra gets his first bit of action.
I'm surprised it wasn't a yellow card issued there. Ibarra was looking to streak into that Tormenta half and was taken down, but no card issued. Only when you stop a breakaway like that, you're going to find yourself in the book more often than not.
Ball nods around a couple of times. Morel almost got to Ajay. Triumph so far not been able to push forward. Looking at this Tormenta side, we discussed it a little bit in the first half. A lot of new names and some big names on this roster coming from championship, coming from across the pond, bringing a lot of experience. And John Harkes was privy to the fact that he was anticipating that to happen this year. He mentioned they brought in some savvy players with the intent of really growing this Tormenta program.
They always with one of the more limited budgets in League One, but they always seem to put together rosters that we thought can compete, but injuries have really hurt them over these first 3 years. And you look at the list of guys that are gone: Micheletto, Luca Meyer, Zad Liadi, Stefan Mueller, Benoit, Michael. These are guys that have moved up either to USL Championship or MLS Next Pro or gone to Europe. And Ian Cameron's done a great job of filling the holes. And yes, they put a little more money into it this year. You got a stadium on the way. You want to put a good product into your new facility. Certainly off to a great start this season if they can hold on to the 3 points here.
Surely the #1 priority is wins, but when you can market the fact that your players have played somewhere and then have moved up to quote-unquote better places, bigger leagues, then those are wins, and those are things that you can market to get some of these bigger players.
No, for sure. And then having a new stadium is always something cool people want to be involved in. 5,300 seats is going to be Tormenta Stadium. We mentioned late May, early June. Darren Van Tassel, the owner, said you got to have a field to play on. They have places to sit, lights, and a scoreboard. They'll have a temporary press box and some temporary locker rooms to begin with. There'll be a 3-story condo building as well as a 4-story team facility, of which the top 2 floors will be a music venue, as well as a restaurant in there as well. Hopefully we'll see that getting built as the season goes on, kind of like we did with Chattanooga last year. We
Yeah.
know how cool
The
that
Chattanooga
stadium looks
route.
now. As Don Smart is down, clutching his right shin.
We can get a look at it here about the collision that caused Don Smart to take the ground.
Yeah, lose first touch, which isn't like him, and then just got clipped on the way through. Seems to be all right.
That's when you get the adrenaline pumping. You don't feel any more than after the game. You go, oh.
Oh, yes. Feel it tonight when you're trying to go to sleep.
Put a good pack of ice on it.
Two goals already tonight. The last 3 meetings between these two teams have produced 13 goals, which is one more than the first 8 did combined. 0-0s and 1-0s in there back in the day. Say back in the day. For a league that's been around for 3+ years now.
Yeah, well, you got the history going. You're building that history. And these are two clubs that have been there since the start, literally from the start.
Yeah, it's the 12th meeting, 5 wins for each team and a draw. One of them was in the US Open Cup. That was won by Greenville here.
That was won by Aaron Walker, wasn't it?
I'm trying to remember, Mark. Yeah.
that's just me digging into the memory wells.
There
I
was
believe.
the Legacy Leap, which wasn't Aaron Walker, but he may have scored in that game. It was and they lost to Charleston in the next round.
Yeah, already a lot of games logged between these two sides, and check out those acrobatics there. Alex Morrell. Bit of a karate kick. But already history. Ian Cameron mentioned that there will be some fun banter between the two sides. He mentioned that both teams have been playing relatively well so far, but haven't gotten the result yet in league play. And to him, it's less about the rivalry aspect of this game and its importance, and more about he knows both teams are hungry to find that first win. And that's the point that they have to drive home. And he knows that his players are honed in and ready for it. I mean, look at the scoreline. They've come in and proved their sharpness.
You always want to get that first win under your belt as soon as you can. Start leaking into your brain when you are. If it goes on too long without one. But once Greenville get past this game, start getting healthy. They don't have to worry about the cup anymore. It's poor from Walker.
Roberts will play it out over to a J. Showing off the footwork. Looking to square it in. Gets a second take at it. Will go out of play. Have people up in arms on both sides.
Yeah, RJ wanted the handball on Brandon Fricky, but he was claiming his hands were down by his side. Got a second shot at it. Couldn't keep it on target. Might be the first shot off target tonight for Tormenta.
Now they have been precise in their offensive opportunities. And that's the kind of precision you need. They weren't able to score in their first 2 League One games. Didn't stop them from winning some Open Cup matches against championship sides. I'd say between these two clubs, 3-0 against the championship in the Open Cup. That's kind of what we were talking about. I remember in the home opener and season opener when Greenville played Central Valley is that the margin between League One and championship continues to shrink and shrink.
No, every coach we've talked to has said last year was where you really saw quality of play improve in League One dramatically. Combining dramatically and drastically there.
Dramatically.
I just made a new word.
Almost slipping through to Keegan. Gavilanez stepping forward, tried the squaring pass. Funny enough, that's not the first time I've heard dramatically before.
That was purely by accident. But yeah, you saw the amount of players that left this year to go to either MLS Next Pro or the USL Championship or to even Europe. The word's getting out. The quality that's been played in USL League One. We talked to John Harkes before the season about how hard it was to bring in players this year just because of the talent pool being so thinned out in League One. It's especially with MLS Next Pro getting going.
Schultz to Walker.
Good pressure there by Heckenberg.
Ibarra with some fresh legs, at least as fresh as anybody could be, given the congestion of schedule. That one's nodded away. Walker fires it back inside. Walker, second take, and Hara is able to fall on top of it as it slipped its way to the bottom right corner.
And finally, a shot on target for the Triumph. Came from outside the box, which is where their goal came from midweek. Not normally something Greenville's known for, their shots from outside the box. Aaron Walker has scored a few during his career.
Definitely something he can hang his hat on. As this ball chipped forward, a lot of air underneath it. Labovitz, look at that touch. Can he track it down? Still pushing after it. But he couldn't get past Dangler.
And Dangler just stood his ground, and all Labovitz could do was really run into him. Some more direct style now from Greenville, though. Don Smart dropping back and just trying to get this offense going.
Looking to find some of that space in the middle. They were really relying on Gavilanez and Evans out on the wings in the first half. We mentioned how Labovitz and Keegan sort of disappeared as the first half went on. Don't want to let that happen again. Schultz's clearance doesn't go forward, but earns a throw in.
Brandon Fricky on his haunches. That's not a good sign. Clearly feeling something. It's perhaps just a jaw, grabbing his jaw. Hopefully that's all it is. Seems to be moving around okay.
Not like a cosmetic injury, but obviously you prefer it over something in the legs. This is an interesting series. Tormenta, not only just last season, but in general, have had the better way of Greenville despite Greenville's league success. It's the power of that close in region rivalry competition. Oh, look at that.
Not sure how much Gabriel meant to do that, but that was fancy.
Inadvertent dance moves on the pitch.
He was almost looked surprised that it came off.
Hold it. No foul.
Morel bring this one down, heads it to the middle. A one-touch effort from Boschwa.
It was a miscue clearance from Jimmy Fileman back into the center of the pitch. That was not why you want to give it away, and that man will make you pay. But lucky there that Boschwa didn't get crisp contact on that one. Flick ball over, and Fileman here trying to clear it, but ended up flicking it back inside his box, and Boschwa just snatched that a little bit. He had more time than perhaps he realized.
Foul there from Ibarra. Takes possession right back for Tormenta. And although had the half to cool off, still definitely some irritation in Aaron Walker's eyes. Has to be careful riding on a yellow card. Also in that same category is Josh Phelps, who just put the ball back into play with the free kick. There's Filerman. Those clearances. Ball forward. Unsure of what the intention was there, but it was not of much success.
There's a stat that sums up Greenville's night. 62.1% of possession, but only 21.8 of total possession has been in the Tormenta final third. Lots of possession for Greenville, but not much used with it. Been in their own third or in the central third. And when they've got to the central third, they haven't been able to take it into that final third. But here's a chance now for Fileman. Lovely ball.
Slipping through for Labovitz. Labovitz can't keep up with it. Like you said there, Filerman with a great ball, great find to Labovitz. He was able to get it past Hara, but he couldn't follow the ball.
His first pro start for Jacob Labovitz. His touch has let him down a little bit tonight. See what he was trying to do there. I'm not sure if he may have been able to beat Dengler to it. A lovely ball through by Fileman, and yeah, just a heavy touch. You saw him lift a shot over the bar earlier. He could have had a hat-trick tonight, Labovitz already, but not to be. Learn how this pro game works, that your mistakes are going to be magnified. The defender's going to be on you a lot quicker if you don't have that good touch on it.
Bit of an awkward entanglement between Gavilanez and Cabral. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022. Whether your club is on the road or at home, catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+, the home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Of course, if you're watching right now on ESPN+, then hello. Made a wise decision.
Got a goal early in the second half in Omaha. Hugo Kamatani. A nice strike from the right side to give the defending champs the lead over FC Tucson, the team they hammered in last year's semifinals.
I mean Central Valley Fuego.
Sorry, yes. I'm getting my late games confused.
Well, happens to the best of us. Almost reaching Keegan. Pop back for Walker.
Chattanooga and Tucson are 1-0 at the half in favor of the Red Bulls still.
Villalobos, staple of the Red Bulls last season, but wasn't much of a goal scorer, definitely growing into that category this season.
With a name like Villalobos, he couldn't really play for anybody else except the Red Bulls.
A good slipping ball over to Keegan. Keegan weighing his options, and he'll win a corner kick. I'm sure he wanted more from that, though.
See his frustration, getting frustrated in his strike partner there, now throwing the ball down from the corner.
This corner kick presented by PNC's Corners for Kids. Gavilanez served up some nice set pieces early in the first half. Couldn't make anything of them. This one a little bit far, headed back into play, but not for long.
At this time, we would like to announce tonight's Bud Zero Safe Driver of the match. Tonight's winner is Stephanie DeVita. Congratulations, Stephanie, and thank you for taking the Bud Zero.
Here we go. Pair of substitutions, one for each side.
Take the pledge and get your name entered
Got
to be the next Bud Zero Safe Driver
Adrian
of the match.
Billhart coming in for Alex Morel. This substitution presented by Spinks. And then you've got Nico Brown also making his way onto the pitch.
Substitution presented by Spinks for Tormenta.
This substitution
Entering the match, number
also
10,
brought to you by
Adrian
Spinks.
Billhart. Leading the match, number 14, Alex Morel, in the 64th minute.
Billhart, his injury last year was really a killer for Tormenta. He got off such a great start. And tore his ACL on a really needless play at the end line. Somewhere he ends up lining up here, probably on the right-hand side, and there he is. Morel was operating more on the left. I assume Jamil Roberts will make the switch now. Nico Brown will just go onto the left side. Not sure who he replaced, Mark. Did we hear?
I haven't caught that just yet. And it looks like it's Alan Gavilanez.
Okay, so
if he went to the left-hand spot, yeah.
on that left side. Gavilanez have been delivering some nice balls in. We'll see if Nico can match that quality.
That substitution also brought to you by Spinks. Movich trying to bring that one down. You mentioned tactical changes, but also just the sheer responsibility of minute management, this being the third game in 8 days. And according to Ian Cameron, he said it's a challenge, but it's one you want to have. Congested schedules means that you're making a run in the Open Cup, or in a cup in general. And he said, we've got some travel on our legs, so Greenville have us beat there, but since they've been home instead. But these guys are driven to come to Legacy and to get a result, and so far it has shown. We've mentioned how clinical they've been with their finishes, making the best of the opportunities laid out to them. And it's been impressive on that front. Here's the switch over to the right corner. Ibarra. Cross comes inside, headed away.
Nico Brown only played a half hour on Wednesday, so he should be relatively fresh.
Schultz. Trying to get by one Jamil Roberts. He's able to get the throw in. Hear the crowd drumming and chanting away. Of course, fantastic attendance on Wednesday against Charlotte. Ball comes swinging in, and the header diverts its trajectory, but still in favor of Greenville.
If you're going to swing these balls in, you don't want to try and keep it away from those two giant center backs of Tormenta. Greenville found some space between them in the first half. Some dangerous deliveries here with some good pace. That's not the best one. They're there by Fricky.
A bit of a challenge from behind from Polak.
Yeah, you can see that one coming. Tyler didn't want to get beaten on the transition. Good foul on Boschwa.
Talked to Doug Irwin a little bit before the talk to Hart. Mentioned that some long lines, but on Wednesday talking about, and said that they came away pretty pleased as a club. And he said it's going to be tough to replicate that environment. There was just such a buzz and an energy at Legacy for that game, and Harks echoed that sentiment and said that it was a great game for the community, for the club. And he said if you give a member of the Reedy River Riot a horn, they're going to play.
Doug's been hard at work trying to get this stadium situation sorted out for Greenville.
Volleyed shot just going wide. And Christensen got his hands on it, so it'll be a Tormenta corner kick.
Obviously, the initial stadium proposal was shot down. So we can go back to the drawing board, but there are several other options on the table.
Let's take a look at that one again. Volleyed effort. Boschwa.
Christensen did well there. It didn't look like he saw it till late. Looked like there was going to be enough space for Boschwa to get the shot off.
Boy, is he confident in his volleys too, Boschwa. Airing ball inside, and that one will go very far once it makes contact. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the SXM app.
Things don't get any easier for Greenville after this one. A home game on Friday night against the Red Hot Chattanooga Red Wolves, and then road trip 8 days after that, as far as you can go, the Central Valley Fuego.
And you know, Chattanooga is thinking payback for their last trip to Legacy.
It's always a fun matchup between those two teams. Well, Greenville thought it was their throw. Referee decided otherwise. John Marks mentioned we might see youngster Patrick Kaeli tonight. Down goes RJ. He's down in a heap.
He's someone who's been light on his feet tonight. Clutching that right ankle.
Born in Ghana, but spent some time at school in England. Let's take another look at it here. Wasn't it there? It's a bit of a step from Fricky, perhaps on the ankle.
Yeah,
stomp
of sorts.
His cousin, Ima Tomasi, plays for FC Dal. He said they're like brothers more than cousins. Scored 4 goals for England schools, did Kingsford, Ajay.
Trying to pull a fast one to Boschwa. He's able to get it back to Bill Hart. Bill Hart, someone they're very high on. Get some work on the ball here. Chipping pass looking for Thorne. Stepped on by Cabral. Greenville able to escape that corner. Now Walker. That's a hefty push. He's got the card in his hand. Chris Ruska. Gabriel Cabral, the Brazilian. Mentioned coming up from Tormenta too, and he will get his first ever League One yellow card.
Yeah, he'll take that one. And Walker was looking to cause some real trouble, but perhaps a little needless. Walker was going away towards the sideline.
The referee has issued a caution to Tormenta's number 8, Gabriel Cabral.
He's 24 years old, Cabral.
In the 71st minute.
Zabara going down the right-hand side, working on Jamil Roberts, both number 11s. And that cross well off the mark from Ibarra.
20 minutes or so here for John Harkes to try and figure something out. They really haven't threatened Pablo Har much at all tonight. Made that one easy save about 20 minutes ago and hasn't had much else to do.
Been a tough 70 minutes so far for the Greenville Triumph. John Hartz. Looks like they may have to wait another day for that first win of the season. Meanwhile, Tormenta can get that monkey off their back. They look good. And reaching that point in the game where they'll start thinking about trying to keep that goose egg on the scoreboard against Greenville. It would be Pablo Jara's 20th career clean sheet in League One play. So that'd be an interesting milestone for him to hit. Of course, still got 20 more minutes plus whatever added time that's notched into the game. That's Jamil Roberts. Watching his right hamstring again. As this time wears on, you've got to be more and more careful about your players who have been playing a lot of soccer recently. And they've got options on their bench, including some midfielders that they could put in for Roberts in theory if he doesn't feel well enough to play the rest of this one. After this, of course, you get, and obviously, in the grand scheme of things, this is normal, but you get the week to prepare for the weekend game. So they are going to take Roberts off, and it looks like Barry Sharifi is making his way into the game. This substitution brought to you by Spinks. And just like that, you don't need to be risky and try and keep a player who's already pulled something or feels an ache or a cramp of any sort, and just tell them to grit their teeth and push through it. You've got some fresh legs. It's been a long week.
Yeah, you got some travel coming up next week. Tormenta's next game at Tucson on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's not an easy place to play. Got to get adjusted to that time zone and play a Tucson side that look to be finding that first win.
That might be the quickest yellow card in League One history. Had to have been 10 seconds. Barry Shafiri.
The referee
Sharifi, excuse me.
to Tormenta's number 47, Barakatullah Sharifi, in the 75th minute.
Subbed in and then gets yourself into the books. Well, you want your substitute to get involved right when they get into the game, but not in that capacity.
Yeah, it's a dangerous position here. Greenville could get something into the mixer.
Don Smart with the service and doesn't have enough height to it. Now Jay is able to escape a clamped moment. And Sharifi now moving up the pitch. Still going with it, and Don Smart has to take matters to a sliding effort.
Don Smart continuing to defy his age, tracking back like a man 15 years younger.
Yeah, with a guy who just came on.
Leads by example, does Don Smart. He scored his first goal of the season earlier. Weeks ago.
Got that one against the Oakland Roots. Here's Bill Hart. He's able to connect it inside. Laid out. Thorne trying to get it back to Boschwa. Talking about Adrian Billhart. Cameron said that he's a terrific talent that we want to showcase. Mentioned he got hurt as a rookie, and he's been working hard to get back, and you're just going to see him grow and grow throughout this year. He said he's in a good mind frame now. So the next step is getting into in-game sharpness as Ajay takes the shot, and it's just wide. I tell you what, though, Ross, every time a shot has left the boot of a Tormenta player, it has looked threatening. They have been on dot today.
Yeah, just finding themselves in dangerous positions, which is half the battle in the first place, right? You got to get the delivery. It's just been there. It's been a lot sharper. I mentioned earlier, a lot more clinical. Two things Greenville haven't been.
I mentioned Pablo Jara has had to make one save on the night. That one sliding effort after Aaron Walker looked to tuck it in the bottom right corner. Outside of that, if you wanted to point your finger at any great chance in this game, it's been on the Tormenta half of things. Here's Labovitz. Bill Hart on the defensive end. It's tripped up and he's going to roll out for a corner kick, much to Bill Hart's distaste.
PNC Corners for Kids, taken by
It's going to be a corner kick presented by PNC Corners for Kids. If there's any time for Greenville to try and still make a game of this, you got to create something here, at least a genuine chance.
Yeah, I thought Bill Hart had been completely hacked down by Labovitz, but the referee didn't seem to see it.
Ibarra's ball inside. Smart looking for the volley.
Too much traffic out in front.
Bill Hart able to hold up play. Able to withstand a tug. Slipping ball, a hopeful ball for Ajay.
It's almost a lovely pull. Luckily Tyler Pollack was paying attention and was able to cover across.
And that was just a slashing effort from Dangler. Ibarra working down that left flank. Right booted cross. That's a confident step inside your own 18. Jake Keegan having a quiet second half thus far. He talked about how they're trying to get him to play more centrally. He's got a ton of energy. John Harks was talking about how it's hard to keep him in that central area because he wants to chase after the ball. That one knocked out for Greenville throw. Harks was mentioning that he wants Keegan to operate similar to that of one Sergio Aguero. Said that Aguero, yeah, just be like Sergio Aguero. But he said that almost all of his goals, talking about the Argentine, are not that far from goal, and they're right in that central spot. And they want Keegan to mimic that mentality, at least. Of course, he's not Sergio Aguero, but if they can get him to take a couple shots on goal every half, then that's the kind of performance they're looking for out of him.
Problem is, you just got to get him the ball. You just haven't been incisive enough in that final third.
Filerman's cross. That's off the mark.
It's just been a little too hopeful, right? Just hopeful balls rather than balls with meaning. Keegan's movement perhaps hasn't been as great as it could be. I'm feeling Wednesday for sure. Could you probably do with another striker, Greenville. John Harkes whispered that in our call this week. Labovitz being a first-year pro, Jake Keegan, who's obviously had some success in this league, but haven't really figured out, and that's not a good sign. Nico Brown limping off.
Substitution presented by Spain.
Really figured out where best to have play Keegan. John Harkes does see him as a 9, perhaps not a solo 9. They need someone alongside him, and the only other true really center forward they have is Labovitz. Again, he's a first-year pro.
In the 81st minute.
So we're going to get a substitution on the Tormenta side of things. Boschwa, the goal scorer, the second goal scorer that is, will come out, and Owen Green, the defender, coming in. So it's bunker down time for Tormenta. Look to see this one through. This is Owen Green's first appearance in league play for Tormenta. He played with Tormenta 2 last season, had 2 goals and 3 assists. And I said this earlier about Cabral. If these guys follow the trend of the Curtis Thorns and others that have preceded them in the transition from the 2 team to the main team, then some high expectations for these guys. So we saw that Open Cup story at halftime. We've talked a little bit about it throughout this broadcast. 4 League One teams in the 4th round, or the round of 32. Northern Colorado Hailstorm, Tormenta, Union Omaha, and the Richmond Kickers. And outside of the Kickers, a lot of these teams find themselves in the bottom half of the table. And you said it yourself, you don't think that's where they're going to be as the season progresses. And Ian Cameron echoed that sentiment. He said it's so early in the season. He said he'd be very surprised if these clubs that have made it this far in the Open Cup aren't at the top of the table at the end of the year. He said right now it's just more of a coincidence than anything. And you call it more of an anomaly if it continues for the next 4 weeks, if those clubs continue to sit in the lower half and the bottom dregs of the early season League One table.
Yeah, the cream normally rises to the top as the season progresses, Mark. Chattanooga up there right now. I think people expected them to perhaps be up there, even with loss of some key players. Owen Green coming in.
Barra's cross, well headed away.
He's on the ball now. Played at FIU with former Greenville Triumph player Andrew Booth, as well as Caleb Frankie, the brother of injured fullback Noah Frankie.
Here's Green, galloping down the pitch, trying to connect with Sharifi. Cabral, they're finding tons of space. Bill Hart's shot deflected away. A lot of room to operate in that final third.
Also on that team was former Tormenta fullback Nick O'Callaghan. Loaded team.
A lot of talent, the FIU Panthers.
Tucson have tied things up, just as we talked about the Red Bulls. Luca Mastrantonio with a goal for the men from Arizona.
I don't have my eyes on that one, but my bet would be a set piece if Mastrantonio's the one getting on the end of it, the center back.
Perhaps.
So they are going to sub out Nico Brown.
That's not good. a sub being subbed is never a good sign.
But in the positive side of things, in this Spink substitution, you do get an academy kid who gets to come out and get a chance at it. Patrick Kelly, the 18-year-old midfielder from Anderson, South Carolina. And there he is. He's committed to play at Penn.
It's pretty interesting. He's organizing people around, walking on the pitch as a youngster and showing people where to go. Uh-oh.
Here's Ajay. He has been dangerous today. Ajay weaving forward. He's able to get it to the penalty marker. No one was there to receive it. Brawl to Thorne. Bill Hart. Trying to stay on his feet.
Jimmy Fallon. Oh. He's had his defensive trouble tonight, Jimmy Fallon, but he's had some impressive passes and he's looked great going forward.
Here's Ibarra into the 18. Squares to the top. Keegan looking for the finish. And at the end, a sputtering effort. Not enough pace on it. Hara falls down on top of it.
And Keegan saw how much traffic there was in the box and pulled back to the top of it. Ibarra saw him. Let's take another look at it here. You can see Keegan just at the edge of the box now. Until there was too much traffic, pulled back. Pass just wasn't quite good enough from Ibarra.
That's
Keegan
about
had to come back 3 or 4 steps to get it. He was never going to get enough power on it. Going backwards away from goal to knock it past Pablo Hara from there.
Pretty much had to make a 180 turn shot. Ibarra showing some of his footwork. Gets it over to the right-hand side. And it looks like there'll be an appeal for a handball, and they'll get it.
Greenville perhaps would have been looking for advantage. It's going to be a dangerous free kick position nonetheless, but the ball was still managed to play in.
So they'll get a free kick. Mentioned early in this game, Ibarra, or not Ibarra, Gavilanez served up a nice ball that Walker headed over top. Of course, Gavilanez is out of the game. It'll be Ibarra now who will look to tee it up.
Goal here would certainly make the last few minutes interesting.
Ball chipped into play, headed out. Filerman betrayed his own touch there. And that's out for a goal kick. Had the chance to get a second look at that one, Filerman, but it's too hefty a touch and rolled out of play. We talked about it earlier. These two teams start looking ahead to that next game, and luckily for them, they don't have a midweek fixture to worry about, so they can spend the week both recovering and preparing for one game as opposed to two. We got Chattanooga here at Legacy Early College on Friday for Greenville, and then the trip to Tucson for Tormenta. So they'll continue to travel about. Ibarra able to send that one inside the deflection. Excellent touch from Labovitz to get it to Keegan.
Ibarra's impressed since coming on. He's made a much more of an impact than Venton Evans did. Just wanting that ball and taking people on. That's what he's trying to do here.
Another ball serviced in, headed away. Filerman heads it back towards the goal. And Pablo Hara cranes it down. Pulling in that effort. Looking to keep the clean sheet. Greenville have been asking some questions as of late.
Ibarra on his weaker foot. There's a lovely cross in front of him. Yeah, just couldn't get the power enough on that header to get it over Hara, who was committed to that front post, but he's got quick feet, this Pablo Hara, and it was an easy claim in the end.
Yeah, quote-unquote weaker foot.
The Red Wolves have got their lead back, 2-1 now. 63rd minute.
High game starting 30 minutes later than this game and the game taking place in Omaha. So if you want to check that one out after this one ends, feel free to do so.
We do have another League One team in action tonight, Fort Madison playing a friendly against University of Wisconsin. I think that's been a sort of an annual thing there between the two neighbors.
I'm sure they're loving the fact that they've got a friendly on top of everything else they've got going on right now.
It's early in the season. You've got a free weekend off, but we obviously have an uneven amount of teams now in League One. So somebody's always going to have a bye. I've seen them done that over the years, filled in with the odd friendly here and there.
Good way to freshen up some of those players deeper in your roster in a competitive environment that's not against your teammates.
It does get old playing against your teammates every practice.
Keegan trying to orchestrate something further away from goal. There's Kelly. Walker trying the back heel. Here in 3 minutes of stoppage time. Ball connecting over to Don Smart. Now Filerman. Bill Hart's able to come in and pick up the ball. Smart again, servicing the ball inside. And that'll be tapped away for a corner kick. Not going to take any risks there. Is one Deshaun Nembard. I haven't had to say his name a ton today.
No, not much has come down that sideline.
This stoppage time is presented by Engineered Sleep. Ball swings inside. It's somehow cleared off the line. Did it go across?
Greenville's players are protesting that it did. It depends what kind of look. It's Curtis Thorne that cleared it off the line if it did not indeed go in.
So I'm hearing no goal right now. And there might have been some collision with the metalwork. Let's take a look at this. It's going to be hard to tell from this angle. Curtis Thorne laying it out, and Hara, I think he kept it. I think he kept it.
At first look, I thought perhaps it had crossed the line. The second chance now, it doesn't look like it did. It's been headed once again by Aaron Walker. Curtis Thorne with the clearance. It looked like it was going to bounce back in, and luckily Hara was there to scoop it off the line with his left hand.
I'm sure that didn't feel good for Curtis Thorne, but he'll let Hara topple over him to keep the ball from crossing that goal line anytime, any day.
He's had a good game tonight, Curtis Thorne, going forward, as well as most of the action being down his side.
Like I mentioned, Pablo Hara looking for League One clean sheet number 20. Neat milestone for the forever man between the sticks for Tormenta.
He obviously had clean sheets in both the Open Cup victories.
So far just has that Garrett McLaughlin goal that's gotten by him this season.
Union Omaha have taken a 2-0 lead late against the Fuego. It's a big win for Omaha.
It's the first win of the for the league season for Omaha, talking about sitting at the bottom of the table. That'll help shake things up. That Fuego team are going to be a tough out this season. Greenville saw that firsthand.
It's Fuego's first loss in League One play after beating Greenville 2-0 and tying Charlotte in that crazy 3-3 game that I did a couple of Fridays ago.
And what is it with you in some of these chaotic games? I mean, I was thinking about it. Tormenta has to go back to Dry Pink Stadium, and I'm sure you remember what happened last time they were there.
I do. If that happens again, I'll be stunned. I do have another game this Friday night. Greenville. A bit of nonsense going on here by the advertising hoardings. Denbard involved again. He was involved in a shoving match earlier. As you can see, Pablo Hara coming over to calm things down.
Labovitz trying to make something of that opportunity. So we're reaching the dying moments of this game. Fricky tapping it to Ibarra. He has been patient on the ball, Ibarra. And that one will go out for a goal kick. And that might do it here. So Hara looking at clean sheet number 20. The Chilean keeper. His 5th year with Tormenta. Of course, only 4 years in League One, so was on that Tormenta 2 team before League One play started. It'll be his 2nd clean sheet of the season, unless Greenville can spoil that here at the last moments. Smart chipping ball. Curtis Thorne was able to knock that one away after the on-the-floor effort from Filerman.
You can't fault Jimmy Filerman's effort tonight. He's been up and down that left wing, trying to get involved when he can.
Fricky, another ball serviced inside. Headed down the middle, Filerman. He slices that one. And there's the final whistle. An impressive 2-0 victory for Tormenta on the road. They'll collect their first win of the season, pushing them up to 4 points on the year in the table. And Ian Cameron has to be happy with the cutthroat, unforgiving nature, especially on the offensive side of things for his group.
Yeah, 4 straight wins now in this rivalry for Tormenta. Up their first league win of the season and vault up the table as a result. Quality display from that man, Ian Cameron's men.
Well, let's take a look at tonight's save of the game presented by Bravo One Protection. And we'll take you back to the first half with Paul Christensen was able to knock one away from Curtis Thorne.
Yeah, it was failed clearance then. A lovely turn by Thorne. Smashed it with his right foot. It's a good reflex save at the front post by Paul Christensen.
He's able to knock that one away, Christensen. I like what they've got in this keeper. Now let's take a look at tonight's play of the game presented by GSP Airport. See here the eventual off-the-line clearance. Fenton Evans doing well to track back for his keeper.
Yeah, Evans did a good job tracking back all night. Unfortunately, didn't do a whole lot going forward. He was replaced at the break.
Well, with that, we'll step aside for a moment, but we are not finished yet. We have post-game thoughts and coverage coming up next on ESPN+.
Tormenta. Vamos, 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 Tormenta.
Welcome to tonight's post-game presented by Priority One Security. It's a 2-0 victory for Tormenta, the visitors. Mark Schultz alongside me, Ross Davenport. When the Triumph scored 2 goals at home, fans can go to Habitat and provide their matchday ticket or say code EATMOREBEER to receive $2 off happy hour pricing. Now let's take a look at the full-time highlights presented by GSP Airport. Ross, it was a game where Greenville may have had the bulk of possession, but it was Tormenta who proved lethal when they had the ball.
Yep, got their chances and took their chances. The first one here. Flown to the back post, and Ajay there to knock it home past Paul Christensen, who couldn't do anything about that one. Ajay just left unmarked, 4 yards out, and he's not going to miss from there, the man of his talent.
And then in the second half, or still the first half, it was Ajay again. Look at that wonderful touch to set this one up, and then Boschwa leaves no doubt on the finish.
Yeah, Heckenberg with the assist on that one. Christensen caught perhaps a little flat-footed. It's out of position slightly, and that one found the back of the net, 2-0, and from then it was always going to be an uphill battle for the Triumph.
And then here, as the game went on, Ibarra, a bright spot for Greenville. This ball comes swinging in. Couple of chances to make something happen here, but Hara was definitely set on keeping the scoreline at 0. So reeling it in, and they'd have to stop one more grand effort off this corner kick. Aaron Walker's header, Curtis Thorne with the twitch reaction, and then Hara able to fly in and just palm that one from going across the line.
He almost the own goal with the right foot of Curtis Thorne, but Hara over there quickly to pounce on it before it could cross the line. Let's look at your final stats. 19 shots for the Triumph. 4 of them on target, 5 on target for Tormenta. 40% success rate there, and yeah, just 60% possession, just not enough doing with it for Greenville.
Yeah, sometimes possession can tell the story, sometimes it doesn't give you the right kind of picture. Tormenta, with every of their shots, just looked all the more threatening than the Greenville side. But with that, that is the end of our broadcast. If you want to check in, that Tucson-Chattanooga game's looking interesting, so you may want to flip over to it. But for this one, our broadcasting crew, Ross Davenport, I'm Mark Schoenstert, saying thank you for tuning in tonight. Hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Saturday. We'll see you next time on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.